What I'm saying is, I'm serious about what I do.
Right.
And if we devoted to Egypt, then be serious about it and learn. And I'm not trying to cheap shot.
No.
I think you a powerful brother.
Coming from you, that means.
But at the same time,
right.
I think that we can sit down and we can build, because I think all of these civilizations were amalgamated together and they mixed it. Everybody got the same signs. Like, perfect example, most of Egyptian pottery came from Canaan. Who was the pottery god? Khnum. That means that they are worshiping foreign entities that came inside of them. If you look at Ptah, Ptah is a Hebrew word that means opener. That is a foreign god. Atum is a foreign god that comes from the Sinai Peninsula. Hold on, let me.
But you can say it. Feel free to say it.
No. I can tell you.
But it's not. I'm gonna let you say it, and then I'm gonna come and blow it out the water.
Well, only based on what primary source?
Let him say it, and then I'm gonna come and blow it out the water.
The question and the stuff that I'm bringing to you is certain things that were foreign. A perfect example, when Amenmesis, when he escaped Egypt, he brought back a concept into Egypt of Amun. Even though Amun was there, Amun wasn't as dominant, but he brought it back when he was smashing all the Egyptian
young people were like, yo, I ain't gonna front. Even the elders came to me and said, yo, you know what? Kaaba was like, listen, that was exciting.
Right.
You know, you really did it like on a boxing theme.
Right.
But it was fun. It wasn't like something negative or derogatory.
Right.
And what I'm hoping it does is make people come into the debates. Step it up. And don't be afraid to entertain your people. We have that in us. Stop trying to make it sound bad. We have it in us. Now, if you're not entertaining, don't try it. Because you're going to say things and no one's going to respond and it's going to be embarrassing. But we have a responsibility to do our best to make people walk away and remember the information. So if I can get you to laugh at a point when I taught you something deep, you'll always remember the information because it's going to be associated with the emotion. You see what I'm saying? It's not because, oh, you just want to entertain niggas. No, it's an approach towards teaching people so they can remember as much as possible. So you see, when they may say, yo, that debate was fly, Lil Lux came out, but then the next thing is going to come in word, so what did you learn? And that gives that person an opportunity to tell somebody that didn't come, who may not have been interested, but because he said, yo, I just went to this joint with Loaded came out. This is a man that had 10, 20,000 people out, Jay-Z and Busta Rhymes, Lloyd Banks and them, all there at that smack battle. Right. You feel me? So it's a good look. Legend. And when he got battles,
shout out to Loaded Lux.
Yeah, Loaded Lux is the truth. So
Harlem.
And we got, you know, for my next debate, I got another good brother.
Now, one of the critiques I hear about debate, and I want to get your opinion on this, is that it's not necessarily about who comes with the best information. It's about who can manipulate words more or who can think the fastest. Because debate is about, you know, it's just like we compare it to battle rap. It's off the top of your head. So the analogy people often say, battle rappers aren't the best. Battle rappers aren't the best songwriters, but they fast off top of the head. Do you feel as though that could be an analogy to scholarship, where debaters aren't the best scholars, but they're just fast off top of the head?
I'll tell you this. We don't got enough debaters yet to really come to that conclusion.
Okay.
I think the culture's being created right now. The stage is being set. People are getting hyped. They're going home like, yo, I want to try it out. Some people try it out, never came back. You know what I'm saying? Some people had a good little run and disappeared, retired. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No pun intended, Malik. I'm really not talking about you this time. Last time I was.
Man.
I wasn't talking about him this time, so I want to make it clear because it wasn't a shot at someone else. Now this time. But the point being is this. It's a culture that's being created, and what I'm gonna say is you shouldn't blame people for their gift. And what I mean by that is, sometimes I'll do my debates, and what the other debater would do, oh, you just want to be entertained, and he did a good job. Don't act like I wasn't teaching up there the whole time.
Right.
If you understand that it does play an element, then incorporate it. That's what the greatest do. The greatest learn, even though I don't like to post up, LeBron learned how to post up and enhance his game. When he can't be his age thinking for the rest of his life, he gonna be high flying.
Right.
He can, we talking about longevity, what you're gonna do is incorporate things to your game so you can last longer. If you're gonna high fly and dunk all the time, you're gonna lose your legs or you're gonna retire early. So the point is, if you wanna be into this, debating, you gotta understand your atmosphere, you gotta understand the people you talk to. Y'all like Dave Chappelle. Y'all like watching the ball players do their thing. Y'all like listening to the rappers. So I'm gonna talk to people who watch ball players, who listen to rappers, right?
Masses.
Who listen to comedians. And then I'm gonna come and teach and I'm gonna pretend like y'all have nothing to do with none of that when I'm teaching. Then I'm not being realistic. Does this mean that, oh, something's wrong with black people? No, I'm saying we're acclimated to comedy, the sports and entertainment industry. So why pretend like these aren't the people that prior to coming in here probably just finished watching a comedy or just listening to the music in their car when they came here. So since I know that's what the people are dealing with, I'm going to incorporate as much of those facets into my dissertation without super saturating it with that to the point it undermines the information.
And it bridges the gap.
It bridges the gap. So I know what everybody's into. I'm into it too. So instead of hide from it, oh, we're lecturers now. And then you catch me out here bopping to some shit. You be like, yo, my life changed. I'm fucked up. The nigga listening to that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We don't want to do that to no one. I wear a fit cap too. On off hours. On off hours, I wear a fit cap. And shit might be backwards. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be doing this all day before they isolate me from y'all like I'm not y'all, and then they do with me what they want. No, I'm going to have a fit cap on and my pants slightly sag. Can't do it like the homies do, but it's going to be slightly sag because we have off hours, and that's what this is about for our people, to let them know you can wear more than one hat. You don't have to just be the lecturer and then that's it. You can wear more than one hat. That's what we want to encourage the youth. There's nothing, we want to make cool fun. We want to make, education fun again.
Right,
we want to make being an intellectual the thing to be.
Right.
We have a responsibility in this movement to encourage the youth, particularly because they come after us. We have a responsibility to do everything in our power without compromising our moral integrity to get them to engage this information. So if it takes rappers to come out, if it takes to do some science, if it takes to think fast, I'm just somewhere else in my mind today say, yo, I'm feeling so good. I want to see if I could create this as he talks, because that should really be where we at. You know what I'm saying?
You ain't planning to do that. You ain't planning to do that.
Nah, we can't have people walking in here. I got my own presentation, and I'm gonna say it no matter what. Nah, you should actually hear what the other person's saying and see how much information you got on your computer and put it together and see what happens. So I said, this is the subject matter. I came here loaded with information, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just hear him out. And that's why when he's like, where's Polite? Is he hiding? Nah, Polite was listening to me. I only came out sometimes to see what he had up there. And I'm like, okay, cool. And that's what it was. So it was fun, and I hope everybody just gains more of an interest for culture. I feel good. I feel like we're pioneers in this movement. We're gonna be here one day looking at how the younger people do it, and like, man, this shit was, debate like hip hop and shit. Yeah. Man, our shit was way better. Y'all out of control.
But it's happening right now. We able to get the word out all over the world. Everybody has their own media in their own way. We got people all over the world.
We're doing a good job, man. Everybody, the brother did good. Everybody did a good job, man. I take nothing from my brother, man. Everybody did a good job. That's what it's supposed to be about. Yeah. He's a great man, and everybody else is participating. And if you participate, it makes you great by default. That's what it is. I love him. Debate is one thing, and what happened in the outcome, I'm with it. But at the end of the debate, that's my brother. I love him, and I love the fact that he participated and he contributed, and he just gave the contrast and argument, because that's what stimulates thought and consciousness. If there was no Martin, when Malcolm was doing his thing, we might have been able to grasp either one of their messages. You need that pole, this polarity.
Now, during the debate, you was, talking about Allah and how our people have been unsuccessful praying to Allah.
Yes, sir.
Over 1,000 years.
That's true, while being oppressed. That's
right. Now, Ali's rebuttal was the same thing happened in Kemet. They was praying to Commission gods while they was oppressed by while they oppressed the Nubians, or the point he was trying to make was every people was oppressed under their God at one time, and that it's not the God, it's the people. So my question to you is God to blame, or is it our lack in belief in that spiritual power that is to blame? Because at the end of the day, isn't it all coming from the same essence, that primordial force?
Oh, I got a whole different thing going on with that.
Okay, go ahead.
When we talk about Egypt, one of the most imperative things that you must do is say in which dynasty or which time. Okay, when people have a tendency to be very selective about history, that actually know enough about it, maybe not enough as they should know, but know enough to know that there are different time periods where different people invaded and colonized those people, and then cultural diffusion took place.
Right.
And we're talking about Egypt in its pristine state. I'm talking to you about pre-dynastic Egypt right now.
Okay.
We can't say that about pre-dynastic Egypt. And at the end of the day, nobody went through 1,200 years of slavery, and the Egyptians wasn't enslaved by their own gods. People came in with their gods and their cultures, and then it was adopted. You understand what I'm saying? It's a totally different scenario from us being enslaved under somebody for 1,200 years, only to turn around for us to want to pray to them after being enslaved for 1,200 years. The Egyptians already were praying to their gods before these people came. You feel me? We were already praying to our gods before we got introduced to Islam. You feel me? Islam will tell you people was praying to other gods, 360 of them. Islam will tell you this. And Prophet Muhammad said, no, we're going to pray to one, Allah, out of the 360. And that's why in the Quran you still see that they have the daughters of Allah, Minat, El Uzza, and Alat, as the daughters of Allah. And that's why I read that verse where Prophet Muhammad sent one of his homies out, cut El Uzza's head off. Because niggas is over there still worshiping her as a goddess. We trying to bring in this oneness in Allah, Tawheed. We trying to have only this man God. What's she doing over there with that? So it's a different paradigm. That's what I'm talking to you about. And it's one thing to have your God and someone enslave you and you start worshiping their God. It's another thing when people come enslave you and impose their God on you. It's a whole, we talking about different eras here. So it's not the same thing. But you got to understand, religious people are always going to give it a good punch.
All right, this is the last question. I know you focus a lot on economics, and you focus a lot on economics in there.
Yes, sir.
One of the concepts that one of the concepts that I'm really feeling that you've been talking about lately is materialization versus materialism.
Yes, sir.
And how people get caught up when they see people manifest so many things. They're like, oh, that nigga materialistic. But it's really materialization.
That's right.
Now, I want you to briefly explain to the people how what we see all around us is nothing but advanced thought. It's just crystallized thought. The material realm is nothing but the spirit realm slowed down. So really, we in this spiritual realm right now.
Absolutely true.
We just able to comprehend it with our senses to have a certain type of experience.
That's right.
So go into that a little bit, brother, because I love when you talk about that.
Well, I'm just saying that having is the most spiritual thing that we can ever participate in. So we're talking about materializing our conceptions. I'll give you an example. I sat here before coming here and I mapped out how I want to do this.
Right.
It was in my head though.
Right.
And if I can conceptualize it to the point that in my subjective thinking, I can somehow objectify it, then in turn my conceptualization would thus be materialized. And all this means is, as a man think of so shall he be. I'm taking it out the scripture. People know that it's popular. That's why I'm using it. It makes sense.
Right.
So I don't mind using anything that makes sense for the people that say, no, you're talking about the Bible.
Right.
It makes sense. As a man think of so shall he be. Or so, now I'm saying, I thought about it and said, you know what? Could be risky. Could backfire. But then I'm like, I seen it where it works. And I'm like, I gotta get the sticks. And they like, I'm running all over the place last minute, like, gotta get sticks, gotta get glue. We tried this different ways. You know, this is a very sophisticated mechanism. It wasn't working when we first started putting it together.
It was sturdy.
It was sturdy. The first ones wasn't.
Everybody used it.
You know what I'm saying? And it was in my mind. And I'm like, yo, I want to do it that way. I also said, you know what? I think this would be great if I organize my data as he talks to be more accurate, to get people to step their game up and say, yo, oh, that was a different look. Right. Instead of two people just bringing in two different lectures and then they both walk out and he ain't answer my point. He ain't answer my point.
Right.
You know, so I've thought about this. When I say one thing I want to, this is important to me, the car that I'm driving today. That's an important car for me in my life because
the Infinity. Yeah, that's nice, brother. That's
because,
nice.
It's definitely nice. But the thing was, I bought it in 2012. It was a 2013. Since I was young, I always wanted to buy a car a year ahead of its time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So for me, it was a huge accomplishment. Now, some people would say I'm going to hell because that's a huge accomplishment to me. But for me, it was a conception. When I was young, I said, yo, one day, I want to have women and I want to buy a car ahead of the year. That's just, all of us have our little boy dreams. Yeah, we hope they manifest. So now I'm polygynous, and one day I get the car and I leave, and then I got the women in the car and I'm driving them, like feeling myself, like, yo, it finally happened. So what I'm saying is, our barometer for success is a personal thing. If you want to just be a school teacher, if you want to be a school teacher and one day it comes into fruition, the type of teacher you want to be and you dealt with the type of students you want to deal with, who am I to tell you that you're not successful? This is what you conceptualize. This means something to you in your life, in your world, in your paradigm. So for me, I went through something as a youth where I said, man, if I ever get that, I'll feel good. So one day I'm there and I just realized this is the feel-good moment that was prophesied since my youth. It meant a lot to me, but not because of the material, just the fact that it was up here and no one could see it. And when I try to share it with others, they like, nah, it won't happen. You know niggas in the hood how it be. And you sharing your ideas and they knock it down and they infer doubt and in turn They they kill your dreams, they kill your ambitions, they kill your hopes. And if you can't even get support in the hood to one day want to get a nice car, what the hell are they going to support you for anyway?
The reason why they kill it,
it make you stronger. You feel me?
The reason why they kill it, and I know I said that was my last question, but this is my last question.
All right, I'm done with this.
The reason why they kill it, they can't understand why is it working for you and not working for them.
That's what happens. Where we at? I'm listening.
So yeah. Well, how come this whole thought thing? This thought, why does it seem to work for some people? Other people just can't manifest at the level
you gotta be
of
careful. You gotta be careful who you share ideas with, because once they can get you to doubt self, then you've been hindered even after you leave them. And no matter how much you try to convince yourself that I'm not going to listen to them, just that thought alone works against you. So what I do, I just make sure I'm very cautious about what I choose to reveal to people about my ambitions and goals. Not that I want yes men, but you want people in your corner that can help you definitively conclude if you're in the right direction or if you might be going astray. Like I said, my brother said, "You sure you want to do this?" So I built with him. And I said, "I trust your judgment. Tell me what you're thinking." I don't want people to say it takes away from what you're doing. When you dealt with the Israelites, you ran around the room. And you said, he said, you running laps on them. So then you ran laps. I said, but that's my free, spontaneous spirit. And I said, you know what I did? I just freed some people. Because some people would never do that. It came in my mind and I just went with it. Spiritually, something told me, yo, I'm running laps on them. Let me do it so people can see the visual of how I feel. I feel like this. So I said, I just want to emancipate people. I want to free people. I want them to know, if you feel like doing it, go out there and do it as long as it's positive. So I'm saying, ultimately, a dream is a very, very powerful thing. And you gotta be careful who you share your dreams with. One of the #1 reasons why most of us is failing in the community, we don't travel enough to go outside the community to be around people that have experienced success. You're around people who haven't had that experience, so the second you get close to it, they become evasive. They almost become offended. In fact, they do become offended by your change. You know how many times I went around people that eat, that I was brought up by, that eat the same way, and now that I eat different, it's almost like I'm attacking them, even though I don't judge them. But when I come there, it's like, yo, boy, I raised you on pork. You ate pigtail, pig head, chitlins. Now all of a sudden you too good. I'm like, don't remind me. You know, but I'm like, I'm not knocking you for still putting the pigtail inside the rice and boiling it. I'm not knocking you for eating the smoked neck bone and lima bean. I'll tell you to this day it was delicious. But at the same rate, I change. Why does my change have to be so offensive to you? But what it does, your change makes people introspect and see themselves differently. And in turn, they feel like they're being attacked, but they really don't realize that that's their conscience, that's not you. So I leave it on that note. I really appreciate y'all.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
All right, yeah, good work, good work, good work.
No doubt.
Yeah.